Hello, Internet fans, and welcome to a Patreon special requested movie commentary for
Yes,
Day of the Dead.
this is at the request of our fan and patron Liquid Pig. This is his favorite horror movie, and I can attest he is a huge zombie fan and Day of the Dead fan. And he threw down the coin like any of you out there can, and make us watch whatever you choose. And it was no options for him. He had to take Day of the Dead.
And I have no issues watching this movie. Watching this movie every day, in fact. I really have no problem with that. I love this movie. It's definitely the darkest of the original trilogy. I
Yeah,
have a great time with it. Um, we'll
I've
run
always
down.
heard that I've always heard the thing is like capitalist or consumerism is the dawn of the dead. Purists go for Night of the Living Dead, and the trolls are the ones that like Day of the Dead.
I've never heard that the trolls love Day of the Dead, but um, I suppose, man.
Because it's like it's for a good long while. I guess I would say it was probably the least popular of the three of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Like or at least the least watched of the three of them. I can definitely attest early on because I had dub tapes of all three of them, and this was one we got to not too often. Dawn of the Dead a lot, Night a good amount of times. Day of the Dead wasn't a whole heck of a lot.
It's a
Nowadays, it's definitely more acceptable. It's more fun to watch, and it's I think it's dead even keel with the rest of the franchise. But yeah, early on, I think it was the least liked of the series. And yeah, I've heard a couple of people say that they broke it down into those three categories of types of people, like just ones that just want to be like different. And will be like, yeah, I like Day of the Dead.
well, and it definitely is. What's funny is it's the darker of the original trilogy, but it has the happiest ending. But we'll get to that. But so
Yeah,
real quick, a quick plot synopsis of Day of the Dead for those of you if you're getting ready to watch this with us for the first time is you have this group of military scientists and soldiers who are held up in this underground bunker, doing research, trying to figure out ways to stop the zombie apocalypse or at least combat the zombie apocalypse. Really,
I really don't feel like they have any direction. Like, there's not like I have no idea what their actual goal kind of is. They are kind of. I feel like they're really just going through motions,
right?
and their lead guy Rhodes is just on a power trip and just clinging to a power trip the entire movie. But I feel like there's no like they're not necessarily going through with it in hopes of finding a cure or finding a way to combat things. I really
Right.
feel they're just lost.
You're just
Like it
kind of
was
spinning the
like
wheels, yeah.
the war is over, and now they're just barely surviving what is clearly the loss of the war.
Right. That's a pretty good rundown of the film, if I do say so myself.
You did.
I'll let Evil explain. If you're new to the way we do commentaries, we have a very specific method. And Evil has it down to a science, so everyone go ahead and grab a hold of your remotes, and I'll let Evil tell you the rules.
All right. If you're familiar with the Lethal Weapon 2, when they're trying to pull Danny Glover off the toilet, they decide on the count of three. One, two, three to go. So that's how we decide. We're at the menu screen right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hover over that play button. On the count of three, when we go three, you hit play. So you'll be right in sync with where we are in the film.
Right.
Because I have my thing set up. Roger got his set up. And on the count of three, we're going to hit play, and then we'll be as in sync as we can possibly get for watching Day of the Dead.
All
We
right.
are. I'm watching the DVD right up here, the Shout Factory DVD edition that has been signed by Bub himself.
I too am watching the Shout Factory DVD, and over here I have my Anchor Bay Blu-ray that is signed by Bub. I have 3 copies of Day of the Dead. Sadly, no VHS, but one day.
I have my dub tape of this movie still, but I don't have an official copy.
Nice.
I didn't think that'd be as impressive. It says Day of the Dead written on it with a pen. But it's there.
All right.
It's there. So, all right, we are on the toilet. We have Mel Gibson's hands in our hands.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
And
we are underway.
We are underway.
1 second.
My player always takes a second, but here we go. So, Liquid Pig was absolutely right in picking this movie. I think, this is not like an overly popular opinion that, so I don't want to like alienate myself right off the bat. I got to say that some of Tom Savini's effects, some are legendary, and some I feel are a little overrated. And all kind of depends on the team he has working with him and the task at hand. Like I love Dawn of the Dead. It's one of my all-time favorite films, but the effects are a little rough, and I feel like this is
blood.
Oh God, yeah. And even in the documentary, Tom Savini's documentary, they talk about how they got Dick
Smith's. I literally was just watching that before I came down to do this.
Nice, how they got Dick Smith's blood recipe, so that by the time Day of the Dead came around, their blood was fucking perfect. And that's
good jump scare there.
Yeah, I love that. I love how that used to be on the Scream Greats VHS. When you
looks
go
good too. Like that looks like it's straight up like the concrete brick wall there.
Yeah, it's fucking top notch.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I was saying is like how I feel like some of his effects are hit or miss. Some are legendary, and I think that this movie, he really brings his A game. I mean, he's got Nicotero
here.
Hmm.
He's at the top of his game here.
Yeah. This is 85, right? So,
yes. Just
phenomenal effects. Tons of great hero zombie makeups. And it stands alone compared to the rest of his work. At least I feel.
I can definitely attest to that. This is where everything came together perfectly as far as him working the effects, how the effects came together, looking as realistic as you could make them, and as definitely as nasty as you could make them. Like this still holds up as being very, very nasty, tough to watch in spots. Definitely when you get to the Doc and his mad sciencing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very visceral. A lot of sloppy gut flopping and
sloppy gut flopping.
Yeah.
That's definitely should be on the poster of this movie.
Yeah, that's a fucking 5-star review. Fuck a 1-star review.
Yep.
Lots of gross, really well done effects in this movie. And when Remix and I were watching this last night while I was taking my notes, it's one of these things where I wanted to talk about Laurie Cardill's character, Sarah, in this movie, how she is just such a badass, and this is right around that time of, our Ellen Ripley's and stuff like that, and she stands right there with like the tough female characters.
I have a hard time always believing that she's actually hooked up with the what's his name there,
Miguel.
Yeah, I was like, he just does not. It strictly has to be like out of convenience.
He's such a pussy too. I was talking about that last night. Like, I understand he's collapsing from stress and he's not handling this as well as everybody else. But my God, does this dude just spend the movie being a pouty little bitch?
He's definitely the guy that like he looks exactly like the guy who would go on an adventure that wouldn't want to go on the adventure. Like they like, no, trust me, he'll be cool. And then like you look at him and go, he's not going to be cool at all.
And then the random alligator.
Bizarre. You got crab, money. That's the cool shot. Money just in a tornado, a gust of wind flying around. The dead walk, perfect.
Like the perfect way to do all the exposition, without having a bunch of characters just word puking all over the first 20 minutes, like
There we see some
Dr.
pure
Tongue.
work right there, man.
Phenomenal puppet work. Later, and I know you own it, but I know you haven't seen it yet, is the Dead Next Door. Dead Next Door does a couple of puppets very similar to that, kind of paying homage to Tom Savini. And that whole, like, clearly can't be an actor, but it looks convincing as shit on screen.
Big ass spider crawling on that lady's arm.
Man, this is one of the best, like, openers.
Yeah, so clearly we're in South Florida.
Yeah, I was like, like Miami, Florida, somewhere, and with all the big palm trees and.
That's got to be probably one of the probably next to like Alabama or Georgia, like the worst smelling post-apocalypse places.
It's just hot and fucking salty, and
that shit's got to hit you in the face like a frying pan.
So one of the things that I was curious about is obviously where this one takes place. It takes place, around Florida. But did they film in mines in Pittsburgh? Because I know that George hung around.
Gosh,
he never really left Pittsburgh except for when he did Land of the Dead. They kind of ventured out, and did the Hollywood thing. But I don't know where the filming location, because that's a matte painting. I mean, if you look close enough, the city streets are a matte painting.
Classic Magnum PI shot here, helicopter flying.
Yeah. Everyone's got some fucking Hawaiian shirts. The pot farming.
Yeah, weed growing. Like you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's the end of the world.
Might as well enjoy the ride.
So I probably didn't have to count it, but I counted it when they mentioned that Major Cooper is dead. So he is completely off screen. We never even are introduced to him, but
allegedly he was a good guy.
Yeah, central to the plot. So
that he held things together and kept roads in line.
Which that's another thing about this movie, is that I feel like this movie is just a vehicle for Rhodes and Steele to just be absolutely insane. Rhodes, Steele, and Rickles. Like, Rickles is my favorite character in this whole movie. I don't know if we lost Evil.
No, I'm still here.
Okay.
I was
just soaking it in.
Yeah, just like that. this like analyzing everyone's like wardrobe. Like you have your pilot and look like his like a mechanic's a onesie suit. Of course you got the dude growing the weed that's got his fatigue camo pants rolled all the way up, and I'm surprised he's not wearing flip flops for shoes.
Right.
Yeah, man, this dude just looks like he's just like, why would you bring him on a run for anything?
Yeah, he's not going to help. He is a useless character. Leave him at home.
I'd rather bring Dolph Lundgren from The Expendables. Like, well, he might kill us, but at least he'll kill something. This dude.
Yeah, he's just going to curl up and cry.
This is going to...
And I was telling Remix last night that John, who is the pilot, as a kid, I take everything at face value, just have always assumed that guy really was Jamaican until I watched special features, and I'm like, oh, holy shit. And so now I can't, like, unhear the fake, the fake Jamaican accent there.
Do you feel that the two guys here, I'm always... fucking shit on their names.
Which two?
But, your pilot and this guy here.
Oh, so John and Billy. John is the pilot and Billy's his drunk buddy.
Yeah. Do you feel that they're together? Like they're a couple?
I just feel like that. I thought about this last night. I just feel like they're you and I. They are us. Like, there's all this shit going on, and they just cannot be bothered by it. Like, pfft, fuck that. We're gonna go to our little, our little trailer out in the mine and fucking drink booze and like put our feet up. Like, I love how I feel like John. I was talking about this last night too. I feel like he is most clearly the voice of George Romero. Almost everything that John says in this movie, I feel George Romero, like when he was writing the dialogue, just pouring himself into that character. Like, people have different ideas of what they want out of life, and shit, I could just go to an island without this shit going on. Just really like, George has always been kind of a hippie. George kind of has that just fucking, hey man, just chill. And that's how I feel that character is.
Hey, we got Trouble in the Golf Cart.
Trouble in the Golf Cart is also another shirt.
Yeah.
A sweet punk band name.
Fucking in the giggler there. I feel like that should be his name, the dude.
Rickles, yeah.
Down there. Because he reminds me of, like, the dude that's laughing in Death Wish 3 that keeps stealing shit and he just laughs all the time like this dude does. Like, they should just call him the giggler.
Yeah, dude, I love Rickles. I love how, like, spoiler alert, even later in the film, during his certain demise, he is laughing the entire time.
He probably has the most entertaining, to me, death scene. I mean, Rhodes is going to be the most memorable, but for some reason I'm just like amused by his.
Laughing while he just fucking gets his head turned into a bowling ball.
Like, yeah, you can tell like the difference. He's not laughing; he's just broke now.
Yeah, straight
he's
up.
Out of where that other dude has been the entire film.
It's funny too because we're watching this, and the movie takes a minute to kind of pick up with the violence, because it's really more of it's a character driven film, really.
It's a super slow deep cut.
Yeah. And when watching it, and when the shit hits the fan, and when Rickles is in trouble, Remix audibly went, ugh, when Rickles' fucking eyeball is hanging out, and I'm like, yeah, welcome to fucking Day of the Dead, bro.
Yeah, we just kind of cruise at 35, and then when we get to the climax of the film, we're just gonna put the fucking pedal through the floor.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna jump it. It's too late. We're gonna jump it.
I gotta jump the water.
Yeah. Slow down, you idiot.
We actually, I'll try not to say where exactly I am, but we have tunnels that look very much like that where I am. There's a big underground tunnel system where they do work and have stuff that looks super like this.
What's the fucking line from Ghostbusters 2? Pneumatic transit, or whatever.
Oh, New York Central City of Albany derailed in the 1920s, killed hundreds of people.
There you go. Nailed it. Yeah, and it's like you said about them kind of spinning their wheels. Like this whole thing about them getting these specimens, which always was kind of weird to me how like the up above ground, they're fenced off because there's these zombies kind of coming from all directions. I just like when they get to the end of these mines, there's that silo where they leave from. So zombies are not coming down that ladder from the silo. Where are these zombies coming from that are down there?
These are, for some reason, they're just down here and they just been down here. And they're like, well, it's too dark to go in there and waste the ammo and ricochet bullets trying to take them all out.
Right.
So.
Well, and also, like, my thought process is this barricade that's between the zombies and essentially the living quarters is, 2x4s. And, like, if enough zombies got together, they're walking through that. That's not concrete. So, like, my thought process would be that there would be people guarding that at all points. But there's a couple of lines of dialogue later in the film where they say like, well, how many people have you lost? We've lost X amount. And that makes me wonder if maybe they didn't have that as a guard post at some point, and just careless military got themselves killed protecting that or something.
They just got backed into a corner and made the best of, like, well, this seems to work. We just stumbled into this area.
Right. I just like I understand and I can justify like what they're doing. Catching these zombies so Logan can experiment on them and figure things out, but I don't know what the like you're saying, like what is the end result? Like what was the plan?
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's time to do this.
Mm-hmm. Because I mean, even the lead character, even Sarah, says, well, you're making a lot of assumptions and you're also just reproving things that have been proven months ago. Like, the fact that they don't need a stomach and they'll keep eating.
You're spinning your wheels. Where are we going?
Yeah. And the tension really ramps up, especially like you're saying with Rhodes, how like Rhodes is in control and then Rhodes doesn't he doesn't believe in what they're doing with their with the science, and doesn't believe in like aiding them, and also all the isolation of them being trapped down there. And they're all
I feel like Rhodes has not seen daylight in probably months.
Yeah. Ever since he had an idea to get to the island. Any island.
Yeah, like I feel like the more rough personality types are ones that are like ones that decide not to go out and search for anything. They just kind of stay down there
and just progressively get worse and worse, like cabin fever. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're not exposed to daylight, and apparently that does mess with some people.
Yeah. Well, and then like the whole thing where say what?
I don't think I'm one of them. I think I could handle being down in the cave just fine for long periods of time. I know some people it does affect their psyche and stuff, like especially over like winter months, like just seeing so much darkness and not enough sunlight.
Yeah, and just like almost becoming nocturnal, and the cold.
I never noticed that dude had a wedding ring on.
Interesting. That is interesting. And the fact that like this whole domestication process begins in this film, and then they explore it even more in Land of the Dead. And I like that this is, a very like bare minimum origin to the zombies that we get in Land of the Dead.
I think she's still marking days off on a calendar too.
Like days matter, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not to the end of the film by any means. We got a long ways to go, but
we're slowly wrapping up this film.
Yes, we'll be closing it off now. But actually, no, seriously, Remix brought something up to me last night that I have honestly never in my life once considered, and it kind of blew my mind. So let's talk about the end of the film here, where they climb up the silo and they run to the helicopter, right?
Yeah.
She opens the door to the helicopter and that zombie grabs her. But then she wakes up and she's on that island. And they're, like fishing and they've made it out, right? That's the ending. The look Remix gave me, he was just kind of like, okay. And then, so this is his theory. He's sitting over there. He's not going to talk. He doesn't want to talk on the mic. But this motherfucker blew my mind. He said,
is he guessing that she just went that place in her mind and she actually is being murdered at the end of this film?
That they're all dead. Because this whole thing at the beginning with you got to gas up the chopper, do it later, do it now, do it later. They don't gas it up. So there, essentially there is possibly no fuel in the helicopter. So they get away, and then when they get out there, they get eaten, and that's the end, is that they're not alive. They're not on an island.
we're the optimists. So we're like, yeah, they made it out.
Yeah, well, I mean, nobody ever makes it out a fucking George Romero movie. Jesus Christ.
Shit, no, most people don't make it out of zombie movies at all anyway. Like
Mm-hmm.
Shaun of the Dead is one of the rare ones where they actually survive.
And that one's even still. We just actually watched that. I love Shaun of the Dead. I could watch it every day for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And Megan wanted us to throw it on the other night, and it really is almost like a perfect movie. It covers all the bases, but like, it even ends really on a downer. Like, he's got his fucking corpse of his best friend locked up in the shed. Like, I mean, they play the Queen song and they make it cute, but it's like, if the Queen song wasn't there, that's sad, man. Like,
Just a sad man.
Yeah. Behind blue eyes.
I'm curious that too. Like they have a lot of paperwork and shit out there. Like, where are they going over with this paperwork?
Yeah.
All these folders and shit out there. What are they doing?
They're putting like little dots in every place that they've killed a zombie.
Yeah, they got a big map of Florida.
Yep.
Armed to the teeth, even down here in this would-be secured base. He's got his bandolier and double machine guns under his arms.
Which doesn't make any sense, really. Think about it, it's supposed to be like
a paranoid guy, man. He probably sleeps that way. He is very good at, I think, covering up, feeling exactly how her boyfriend is feeling that just got sedated.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's one of the things I was going to get at was this whole exchange of dialogue here, where they're all basically making sexual advances towards her. She's the only female down there. They're in a position of power. They are losing their minds, and they're all progressively getting more and more violent. How this movie is just a powder keg, like waiting to explode.
Yep.
With,
you're uneasy.
They're gonna
watching.
Yeah, they're gonna fucking I spit on your grave her. Like, it's all there.
Yeah.
Like, they're literally saying they're going to do it.
You feel more comfortable when you're actually on the surface and they're out there trying to do a run than you do when they're down here and they're boxed in. Like, it's more claustrophobic and more like impending doom down here than it is out there where the zombies are, which is where eventually every zombie story does go. It's like the people are more dangerous and unpredictable than the zombies are.
Right. And keeping this movie so claustrophobic, and most of the, these fucking long hallways with all the doors are always shut. Yeah. And then the camera will get up close on a character, and the character will go to turn a corner and Rhodes will be there, or it's always like,
yeah, this, like, just like this here, this is a big like operating room that that the mad scientist has here, but they have a lot of close-up shots of her where you don't feel there's any room, and yeah, there's Bub out of nowhere right behind her.
Yeah,
like there's room there. There's a lot of room there, but they shoot it so it doesn't feel like there.
Yeah, so it definitely feels very claustrophobic, closed off, dark, cold.
And shame on him for not saying, "Hey, I have one chained up right by the door. Be careful."
Yeah, the flesh eater that's right next to the door. Just come right on in.
Yeah, don't worry, I got a squirt bottle. He won't.
Yeah, and this, I was talking to Remix about it too, like how the majority of Tom Savini's effects are all just very like sleight of hand magic tricks, with like the
like 3 people underneath a table to make it look like one person on top of the table.
Mm-hmm. Or the zombie that's just the brain with an actual practical body because there's a hole in the table and the actor is literally just leaning their head back under the table.
Yeah, I mean it looks great. Like, it's even on the DVD, like it's not easy to see.
The only thing I think that almost ruins the illusion is like the brain is kind of like pulsating, so then the spinal column moves, which makes the neck portion sort of look rubbery.
Yeah.
But if it was sitting absolutely still, you'd be like, how the fuck did they pull that off? Which I didn't know how they pulled that off until years later when it was some documentary I went, whoa,
Genius.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's a student of the game, a student of magicians. He loves magic, so.
And we're working as far as I got up to the point in the doc about him on Shutter. It's like he grew up poor, so utilizing everything around him to make things kind of working cheap and working efficiently with what tools he had available.
Sounds familiar. Just saying.
Hey, yeah, we make do with what we have available.
That's straight up.
And eventually we start being recognized for our work, and we start getting some coin for it, and we're able to do bigger and better things.
It's insane. And again, Mr. Liquid Pig, thank you for recommending and chipping in on this commentary.
Yeah, I was actually just saying to Roger the other day, it's like, man, it's been a while since we've done a commentary for a movie. It's like,
that was yesterday.
yeah.
It's funny how things change that quick.
We need to do a commentary again on something. Anything.
Yes, we do. And
that straight up looks like a washing machine, like setting up in there.
It's a Maytag.
Yeah.
It's probably George Romero got started making detergent commercials, like Calgon commercials. I'm looking for a hidden Calgon
secret, huh?
So that's another thing about Dr. Frankenstein or Logan. Even when I was a kid, like watching this movie for the first time, like the things that he is saying that are supposed to make scientific sense, and he's supposed to be like the brain. Even as a kid, I was like, this dude is not right in the head. Like, something is wrong with him.
Oh, here comes Big Money Shot. Here comes the guts slopping.
Yep. What was it I said earlier about guts slopping? I already forgot.
I have as well, but man, that's great.
It's top notch. Yeah, and this whole thing too. Which
drill him in the noggin.
Which he's a fucking genius. It's the same trick that he did in Dawn of the Dead with the screwdriver to the zombie's ear. Yeah. It's the drill body, but the bit is a fucking straw painted black with a fucking and someone's squeezing a tube of blood. That's 6 cents, man. Like, that's no money whatsoever, and it's one of the best effects ever.
Yeah, makes you go ooh.
Mm-hmm.
But you got the reveal there where he had snagged the corpse of their former general there because he needed a fresh body to work on.
Yeah, so again, you just start to, right off the bat, being introduced to him, you know that he's off kilter, he's unethical,
He has good intentions, but it's like, man, you're kind of a few beers short of your 6-pack of accomplishing your goals.
Yeah, and it's dangerous because you're messing with a bunch of unhinged military people.
Yeah, like as soon as they get wind of what you did, they're going to be coming after you.
Mm-hmm. This is
and
like
for some reason, compelled to keep him alive. Because he thinks he's going to eventually provide some kind of something useful. Wishful thinking, I believe.
Right. I love this exchange too, back and forth between these guys. How he starts out yelling at him. The fact is, I can't reach anybody. Like, we're the only people left. Like, they get in this pissing contest, this temper tantrum back and forth. Well, fuck you and fuck this and fuck that and
most of all, fuck you.
Yeah, and all the shopping malls are closed. It stops them yelling at each other and them all like slowly kind of realizing that, again, like they are just spinning their wheels. And then you got Rhodes, who is just like, no, I'm fucking in charge. Like,
things are going to be happening now.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Nothing's going to be
getting efficient. Things are going to become efficiently done. You're not wasting none of my time.
Mm-hmm. What is getting done? That's the thing. Like,
well, Nicotero's accomplishing looking like Patrick Swayze over there, smoking his joint, which I like that they have no problem at all with that. Yeah, this dude is a part of your military, and he's fucking high as shit over there, growing this stuff all day. Why aren't you on his ass?
Well, that's one thing too. So Steele is yelling at him for drinking whiskey, but in front of Steele, there's like 4 crushed beer cans.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are we doing? And then this whole thing too,
That shit's gonna fuck up your liver, man.
with the, he's willing to have her shot. I mean, he's been in charge less than 24 hours, right? Hey, sit down. I'm not done talking to you. We're not talking about anything. So I'm going to leave. No, sit down or I'm going to fucking kill you. And
He's lost everything. He has nothing left. He's the only thing he has is clinging is all his newly found cling to power.
Yeah, to some form of command.
Yeah, so everyone will bend to that will.
Yeah, it's
even this dude, they don't take it seriously. He's like, you better fucking take this shit seriously. I will shoot every one of you.
Yeah,
to shoot her.
And that's like just a testament to. First of all, Joe Pilato, rest in peace. Fantastic actor. And he
reminds me a lot of Ray Liotta.
Yeah, he's got this very raw, believable intensity. Like, how like
the eyes.
Yeah, I was gonna say something. Goodfellas or even Unlawful Entry with Ray Liotta, where Ray Liotta can have one scene where he's the sweetest person in the world, and in the same scene, flip that switch. There gets this. He's a coldness in his eyes, and then he's a monster. And Rhodes is almost the same way, although he's never sweet in this movie. But
yeah, he's not charming in any sense of the word.
No, but he goes from 0 to 60. He goes from just a standard angry to a little bit more intimidating to murderous, like absolutely horrifying.
Yeah,
like you don't want to sleep.
Back down so we can get back to our meeting about nothing.
Yeah, so we can look at these maps and go, "Yep,
we're still in Florida."
Yeah, because like they said at the beginning, how far did you go? 100 miles up the coast each way. Because you can only go so far before you have no gas to get back. So what do they...
You got a good sense of direction. You're like, where did we come from again?
Yeah, and what do you hope to accomplish? How far do you expect to get away to find people?
Yeah,
and it wouldn't... Go ahead.
Are you searching to try to find resources? Are you trying to find survivors? Or are you just trying to find somewhere to form an allegiance with somebody?
Right, and it wouldn't, and that's the thing too, because they say this is the biggest city within 100 miles or whatever we're going to set down. It wouldn't be the big city. I wouldn't feel that you would find survivors. It would be like the outskirts, away from the numbers of zombies.
Yeah, farmland.
Where you sit down and yell through your megaphone. All you're doing when you
sorry, Mike, for the meeting, guys.
Is there food? I'd probably quote this once a day.
You're gonna wash your hands or anything? Take your jacket off.
Yeah, like what happens if it was like finger food or a sandwich? Would he get infected if he?
I would love if there was a fucking buffet line.
It's like a salad bar, like a
yes. And Rose is fucking flipping out. He's like, God damn it, will you wash your fucking hands? Come in there looking like goddamn butcher shop. What the fuck you doing in my buffet line?
I told you boys and I told you boys.
Shoot him.
You coon shits. Man, yeah.
Man, look at his neck and you can see stuff shooting out there, just pissed at life.
Just raging.
Yeah.
He also kind of looks like now Corey Feldman. Like like a little bit older Corey Feldman, like rough times Corey Feldman.
So we could remake Day of the Dead and you'd want to cast Corey Feldman as Colonel Rhodes.
Yeah, but he's wearing the one like sequence glove and fucking riding around on a hoverboard. Like
spikes all coming down the side of the sleeves of his fucking fatigues.
Yeah.
I like that. Who's that extra guy that's next to Nicotero there?
That is actually, fun fact, that's Tom Savini's buddy, Tasso.
Tasso?
Yeah, that's Tasso. Who, helped with Friday the 13th and a bunch of other stuff. Is a fantastic effects artist. Because
I finally seen like how he looks nowadays on that Tom Savini doc.
did he pass away? I don't want to say that if I'm wrong, but I feel like Tasso passed away.
It's possible because I mean that doc has Sid in there and George is in there, so it's like it's
Yeah,
clearly it's been years in the making, so it's entirely possible.
yeah, and that's not to take
We're
this.
getting older, man. We
Yeah,
losing all the staples and icons.
yeah, not to take this commentary down a dark road, man, but losing George was very hard. I think the horror community took it pretty rough, and I know that you and I took it pretty rough.
Because didn't that hit like the day after one of the convention a couple of years ago? Like
It was a Sunday. We were at the
yeah,
convention.
yeah, we were packing up like last day and we are heading out, and yeah, then that news broke then and there that happened. It's like, damn.
Yeah, it sucked, man. I mean, he's one of the greats. Everybody knows the Dead trilogy, and the other films. Like the Land of the Dead and the Survival of the Dead and Diary of the Dead and stuff. But like, he's a genius. I mean, we got Creep Show because of him. We got Monkey Shines because of him. Dark Half. All the stuff that he did with Stephen King. He always had something to say. And I don't want to go down a dark road. I don't want to get sad. I'm just saying I miss George Romero, but we have his films and they're here forever, so we can enjoy them forever.
Yeah, it may have been the wife that said this, or I may have heard it in another place, but it could go either way. Where it's like someone is only truly gone when their name is no longer spoken about.
That's true. I like that. And that'll never happen in this house. So
in that aspect, he will never be gone.
Right. And I never got the chance to meet him, so I can't I have no personal stake in it. Just being a horror fan, just losing an icon.
Yeah, people that you invite into your home and are part of your life, even if they don't know how much
Exactly
they're a part of your life.
This motherfucking
just pissed. Yeah, all I can see now is I'm picturing the fucking made up buffet line, like it's just going off on everyone.
It's like fucking boneless chicken wings and shit.
Like bitching about how tough it is to get the supplies to make coleslaw.
Oh, that's fucking.
They're burning through lots of cigarettes too, so it's like is that one of the things they did on a supply run was try to find a truck of cigarettes?
Yeah, well, I mean, in Land of the Dead, they touch on that with Leguizamo's character running in and getting cigars and booze and shit, and all the essentials really. He sends the other goons for food and stuff, and then he goes for the high dollar stuff, so to speak. So I would imagine that's part of their venturing out. Yeah, and then this whole scene right here with him saying, well, he's not going to shoot Billy because Billy's the only one who can run the radio. He's not going to shoot me because I can fly. But all you other motherfuckers, you better watch your ass, Because
just like in real life work, like man, if I make yourself irreplaceable, and then you're comfortable.
Mm-hmm. And that's what's
can't get rid of me. You need me to do this because you don't know fucking how.
Mm-hmm. And that's part of the thing with Billy and John. Like you're saying, you feel like maybe they're together. They definitely have an alliance, and this whole thing with them, like, well, we know they're not gonna fuck with us, so we're gonna coast. We're gonna sit out here and sip our booze, smoke our cigars, and just kick it. And they try to stay completely uninvolved until the whole thing with Miguel happens later.
Yeah. Been watching you sleep. Even though you gave me the sedative.
Yeah. It's fucking weird. I also love how he straight up reacts like Gage from Pet Sematary when she sticks him with that sedative. No fair.
Clunk.
Yeah. Just burn the bunker down.
Man, did she jam that sucker in there too? Like she was smashing that into his back like she was expecting the front end to come out his chest.
Punctured a lung.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all the way in.
And then I love that too. Like they have a room together, and then she, he leaves. Like, what is he gonna do? Go sleep in the fucking hallway?
We'll go see what Frankenstein's doing.
Yeah, like he's drugged up, man. How far is he expected to make it? Just collapses right outside the door. Just fucking bashes his face on the fucking tile.
I always thought that looked cool too. Like you have like a very industrial tile floor and shit, then you just have rocks on the other side of the wall.
Mm-hmm. And that's not a set at all. Like that's a
No.
real place, which is fucking amazing. And then Remix was looking into this last night, and I think Remix, are you in here?
Yep.
Yeah, $3 million was the budget.
3.7.
$3.7 million. Billion. 3.7 million.
$3.7 billion.
And it definitely has a bigger scope than the rest of the films, even though it was scaled back.
And wasn't there some story behind like he could have gotten more money, like a lot more money, but it would have been a lot more studio controlled kind of thing. And he's like, nah, I'm not doing that. I want complete control over my film, so I'm gonna do a severely reduced budget, but at least that way I don't have people hovering over me telling me cut this scene, cut that scene. What's this here doing?
And I know that his original plan was for it to be much bigger, and then he kind of dialed it back. And I don't know if that was based out of investor or studio interference. I just always thought it was a budgetary restraint that he just could not afford what he wanted, so he scaled it back.
He had to be feeling some heat from just the time frame, because you're at 85. You're right at like the beginning of where the MPAA started to be like, hey.
Mm-hmm, definitely,
hey,
it's prime MPAA time.
Yeah.
Bunch of fucking dickwads. And how many of those?
All kinds of stuff. Got boats down here, like old 1920s trucks.
And how many of those bats that fly by you think are real bats, or you think they're just straight fucking Elm Street 2 like?
I feel like they have to be real bats. I would totally be more surprised if George was like, put some bats in here in the background.
Yeah, you know what this cave's missing? Some fucking bats.
Yeah, and a Batman. What about that too?
I love the gun rack with fucking Uzis on it.
Yeah.
And also, don't you think
decorating here? We're on the beach.
Don't you think it's kind of funny that these two have this place out of all the people? Don't you think like the military would have had like the nicer living quarters? That they would
nah, because they're not ever in a place where they can unwind. They're always want to be uptight and wound like a Timex watch.
Yeah,
but I did always like the fucking stringed Christmas lights that are ice cream cones.
I guess I never noticed them. And Remix pointed out that he's wearing.
Go back to look, but if you look like where the door she came in, there's a set of Christmas lights. They're like ice cream cones, and the ice cream is lit up, or the lights part of it.
And Remix pointed out that the pilot is wearing a Pamela. It's identical. It's Pamela Voorhees sweater, except it's not blue.
I was like, it's borderline turtleneck.
Yeah, that's Pamela right there.
What's Bugsy doing wearing Pamela's sweater?
Just get out and run Bugsy.
Oh.
Yeah, he's
got a 3-ring binder open. Like, what's he reading?
Yeah, he said he's reading all the. They've got all the stuff about natural disasters. They've got all this. They've got all that. And what does it matter? This whole thing is so George Romero. That's what I was talking about. Like, yeah, man, all this shit, all this fucking natural disaster, all this fucking.
That's a big fucking drink he just poured. Too.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Well, he gave her a little bit and then fucking came back and was like, nah, here.
Yeah. Like, let's just fill this fucking glass all the way up. You're stressed.
Mm-hmm.
It's just tea, man.
It's a Long Island iced tea. There's no iced tea in this.
There's not even any ice in this.
You can't do that when I'm taking a drink.
I can't see you, so I don't know what you're drinking. I don't even know that you are drinking any.
I got a Diet Dr. Pepper tonight.
Diet.
It's what was in the fridge.
Classy as fuck there with his pipe.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I love everything about this exchange and them he's just kind of saying none of this shit matters. You know, one day everything is going to be gone and no one's going to care that something like, you know, an earthquake happened in the 40s or whatever. Like, this shit does not matter in the grand scheme of things. Unless you all get killed by the earthquake, I guess. But
Yeah. You know, like when the big one hit San Francisco.
1997?
Right into the crack. I also wonder if some of this stuff was shit they picked up while they're on their runs. Like, grab that fucking, like, wicker chair.
How much can the helicopter hold?
We gotta lose some weight. I'm not dropping this potted plant. This shit's staying here.
Steve, fuck you. Just kick a dude out and then keep the plant. Well, I think it would be funny if they had a little cassette player in their fucking helicopter and they were listening to some Little Richard like in Predator. Long tall Sally she.
Yeah, baby.
Ooh, baby. Having
Doing
some
hand
fun
signals
tonight.
and shit.
Boop.
Who's our backup?
It's getting better by the minute.
No such thing, old buddy.
Man.
That's hopefully another one we get paid to do at some point. Someone's like, do a commentary for Predator.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You talk about Predator all day long. And you're in you're watching the documentary about Tom. So have you picked up the fact that the lead girl, Lori Cardille, that her dad was Chili Billy Cardille, who was...
I have not. I literally I think I just stopped it when he was getting into Creep Show. So I just got through all the bits where where it's like, geez, that might have been interesting to know beforehand when I met him for the second time, was the weird parallels that he had with his dad that I had a lot with mine.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's just what I definitely need to hear before I go down to get into professional mode to record a Patreon commentary show. Be like, I'm good. I'm fucking good. Yeah.
I told you, dude, that documentary put a lot of shit in perspective for me, and I'm an emotional guy anyway. I think you and I both are, but that documentary really kind of like shook me up a little bit. But what I was saying about her is her dad was Chili Billy Cardille, or Cardille, however you want to say it. Who, you know, in the 50s and 60s, he was basically like, he was a Joe Bob. You know, he hosted late night chiller theater type things local in Pittsburgh. And when George was making Night of the Living Dead, they reached out to him, and he's in the movie. He's one of the, he's either the mayor or he's one of the hunters in the original Night of the Living Dead. He's got like one or two lines of dialogue. And so when George was making this movie, you know, he cast her because it's a tie-in to Chili Billy, and plus she's fucking phenomenal. She's like, she kills it in this movie. But
yeah, she's got a good mix of, you know, vulnerable but strong leadership.
Yeah, like Terminator 1 Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
With less, her hair is not as big. That's what I'm trying to say. Less poofy hair.
No Michael Biehn.
Yeah. Never know. He could have been an extra zombie.
have to be like, so what are you doing with these guys?
Well, I chain them to the wall and
Then we
tease
hand
'em.
them props.
Yeah. We're trying to train them all to be Carrot Top.
Which I would have been like, yeah, that's fucking awesome for one zombie, but how the fuck would you ever manage to do this with a horde?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
this is small potatoes for a huge problem.
Yeah. Unless it is, some sort of like hive mentality where it's like in Land of the Dead, Big Daddy, when he starts figuring out how to chop down the barricade, and he kind of shows the zombies like, do this type of thing. They need a leader. They need someone so they can lead by example type deal.
This dude's just treating them like children.
Yeah, basically.
Now sit in the dark and think about what you did.
Think about it. Think.
I've just been the fucking dude standing next to him going, "The fuck you doing?" But at least he has on a cleaner coat now than he did before.
Yeah, he hasn't been fucking sawing up specimens.
Yeah,
oh nope, it's still bloody as fuck.
Well, it doesn't look as bloody as his one beforehand.
We're like, yeah, it's way cleaner.
You can tell he's not washing his hands because he's got a lot of blood stains right in the pocket where he's got the pencil sticking. So he's reaching in, pulling that pencil out, and writing shit down and putting it back in there. Just
gross,
bloody as hell. Yeah, well, I'm hungry.
Ugh. Is there food?
I am bushed. Well, he's dead now.
Yep.
Copy of Salem's Lot.
Yep. Yeah, and this whole thing too, like, it doesn't necessarily prove that. Not until the gun. The gun is when I'm sold, and the phone, the "Hello Aunt Alicia" line. But like, even a baby who has never seen these items might do that, or pick up a book and open it.
Yeah, all stuff that's like
instinctual.
Children.
Yeah, like a dumb baby.
A big dumb baby.
Yeah. Zombie shaving. There it is, right there.
Which would have been cool if it had been like he's shaving his face and then like this you see just chunks of his face start coming off.
Yeah, I love those two little strips, and then he puts the one strip in his own mouth, and that's effective, man. That's a very effective, like, little tiny effect with the two little cuts happening. I wonder how they did that. I'm not sure.
Toilet paper.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, that's Tom Savini's fucking go-to, man.
Yep. Let's get me some toilet paper and some spray paint.
Yep. That's like some Death Becomes Her shit. What's your secret?
Yeah.
Spray paint.
That's a movie right there. We'll definitely one day tackle Death Becomes Her.
I'm telling you, that's a Tales from the Crypt movie, dude. I don't care.
That totally is.
That's a Zemeckis. Is it Zemeckis?
I don't know, but if you told me it was, I would believe it.
Yeah, it feels just like an episode of Tales from the Crypt. It's filmed like one. So it could be. It's a Tales from the Crypt movie. It's just missing an intro from the Crypt Keeper.
Oh, here comes Party Pooper.
You want me to salute that? What is it? Walking pile of pus? Or
see, his jacket looks cleaner there than it did before.
Just the back of it.
I swear the front of that looks cleaner. Not clean, but not as bad as the one he had when he was walking in on the meeting.
Yeah. Like he had just got done fucking sliding through a pile of guts, stomach first.
Slip and slide style, yeah. Well, everyone else has clean shit. Like his assistant, clean shit.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's got shit on him but him. Because he hasn't slept in fucking months. He's just working around the clock and just turning into mush.
His fucking eye, like the bags around his eyes, the black around his eyes, like just progressively gets worse and worse and worse, and you're like,
And you can tell he's got that fucking tape around the side of his glasses because he's done broken his glasses probably from falling asleep on them so many times. He had to fucking tape them back together again.
say hello to your Aunt Alicia. Alicia. So good.
Salute. like I am not fucking amused.
I love Steele's reaction. Like,
Yeah, he just glances over and I'm like, shut the fuck up. You're encouraging him.
when you do a remake of this, you gotta have Steele played by Phil Margera. Yeah, this is the point where I go, all right, maybe they're smarter than we're giving them credit. When he fucking cocks the gun, I'm like, you're in trouble.
Yeah, that should be a gulp.
Yeah, like an audible guffaw. Like, you done fucked up, Aaron.
Like once he cocks it, I would not have been surprised right then and there if Rose had just opened fire on. This is how shit starts, Frankenstein.
Yeah,
You hand
fuck
them
you.
fucking phones, now you're handing them a goddamn gun. Next thing we're gonna be doing hand-to-hand combat and firearm fights.
And that's another thing later in the film, which I did bring up last night. When Bub sort of, is pursuing Rhodes, and everything's the final showdown between Bub and Rhodes. Even after Rhodes is injured, I feel like my first instinct would not be to run away from the zombie. My first instinct would be, okay, I'm hurt, but it's one zombie. Would you not just bum rush that fucker and smash his dome before he could shoot you again? Like, seriously, like, because he gets
Depends where I
shot.
was shot from initially. I have not been shot, so I have no idea how my reaction
Right?
time to being shot.
But I mean, he gets shot. I think he gets wing me in the shoulder.
Yeah,
You know?
I would like to think I'd be like, I was watching that Haunt movie the other day. I would have liked to think I would take a gunshot like the kid in that movie takes that gunshot before he
Yeah.
tackles that dude and bashes him head with that ball bat. But I don't know.
Yeah. I think I would probably scream like a little bitch and fall down, but for the sake of it being the character of Rhodes, for the sake of being the tough guy, I don't think that his character would react in that manner of running away.
I feel his character is totally warranted in that. Like he's very, very like in your face.
When
but as soon as anyone of equal power or even a slight bit of power over him becomes a threat, he suddenly starts quivering. I bet he was just a sniveling bitch to the former general the entire time. Like here's your coffee, sir.
Yeah.
But then once he's out, he's like, fuck that motherfucker! I spit in his coffee every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose I could see that. That's a pretty good assessment.
Like the second anyone has an opposing threat to him that holds like some credibility against him, he's like,
right. But as long as he's got his yes men around him, he feels pretty tough. But then he abandons them because he's so fucking scared.
Yeah, locks the door behind him.
Rhodes!
God damn it, Rhodes!
You bastard! Chomped on the knot or on the throat there, and old Nicotero gets smoked. And this is when the movie starts really kind of ramping up.
Yeah, this is like if you noticed the one wheel was kind of loose on the roller coaster.
Yeah, and you're like, from here on out, it gets really scary.
Yeah. It just runs.
Which is me. That's me. Right? Just take off. But they would catch me a lot sooner because I'm not running very far.
Gotta finish me off.
Doing its Nolte.
Yeah. Do it, damn it. Pull out the 4 pistols.
Boom.
That looks great too. That just pours out of his head.
Yep. He definitely
Which,
sold that.
Unfortunately, there's that fucking bat again.
Yep. 2 of them.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I know is fairly realistic because I had the misfortunes of seeing that Bud to Wire video years ago.
Yeah, where blood just spills out of you.
Yeah, like he just turned a faucet on high and just left it on.
Ugh. Yeah.
We
like our violence to be on screen and hokey, or I mean, if it's going to be realistic, let it be fun and over the top, I guess.
Even that's pretty like tough to watch there. Like she has to put her hand in to help get that fucking arm off.
Yeah, and that's another Tom Savini misdirection genius. You
Yeah.
know, real arm machete with a groove cut out of it. It's so fucking effective.
And then she's got to press down with it to get through the rest of the arm. And it's just pouring out there. And we got to light it on fire and seal it up.
Die, spawn of Satan!
I'm okay.
But I still have my torch.
The fuck doing? He just looks so betrayed there, too.
Yeah.
Like, why are you setting me ablaze?
And he has beautiful,
More fire.
like a beautiful beard with fucking, like, it's glistening like it's just coated in beard oil.
Yeah. I think he's gonna be okay.
He's good. He's good.
We'll just hide him.
Yeah, and then this is where they get drawn into all the conflicts. They've been doing a really good job of just coasting, and then they stand their ground here.
Yeah, like time to pick a side.
Mm-hmm. And I love that
Rhodes comes in with all the guns,
like pulling a cannon.
Yeah, he's got that fucking sawed-off shotgun, which is only really effective if you're right up on a guy. Then he pulls out another gun.
Shazam! Yeah, he's got like every gun ever.
Yeah, the other 2 guys just started running with their one, machine gun, and he's like, I gotta get more before I take off running. Give me 3 more guns.
Yeah. Fucking bow and arrow.
Running down the fucking cave looking like an Emilio Estevez and Loaded Weapon 1.
Nice.
Darts and shit in his fucking pouch.
Yeah, I love this standoff. It's like super intense. No real action, just
Those caves are cold too. Like they're genuinely cold, but you can see it in their breath too. Like it's cold, dark, and depressing down there.
Yeah, which definitely plays a hand in why everyone's so fucking unhinged.
Yeah, all things for a perfect cocktail of bad things are going to happen
Mm-hmm.
if prolonged periods of time are spent now. Hair still looks on point though.
Yeah. Always wanted to know what the hell this shit was you put in your hair.
Apparently, hair care products like LA Gear was in supply while they were down there.
It's bat guano.
They had many uses for it down here.
Steel doesn't need any. Steel and I, we got the same same problem.
I feel like they remade this. That should be John Goodman.
Oh my god, that would be fucking epic. Holy shit. Yeah, because John Goodman, no matter how old he gets, he can still play like he has that gruff voice, He can turn it on.
Dude looks like he could go through a door if he needed to.
Did you see 10 Cloverfield Lane yet?
Not yet. I want to.
God, dude.
Another one on the list of movies I'm trying to mow down now.
Do you own it or? Do you own it?
I do not own it.
Oh my god, dude.
I don't own any of the Cloverfields,
That's a
which
sad,
is weird.
sad state of affairs, man.
I know. I enjoyed the first one. I have seen the first one.
Yeah, I love Cloverfield. I champion that movie all the time. But 10 Cloverfield Lane is basically just it's a vehicle for John Goodman to just steal the show the entire time.
There's where she's able to finally mentally release.
Mm-hmm.
Which everyone's got to do, just at least all right, now get it out. All right, now refocus. We're back on task. Which here she's already back on task. She's got it out.
And they don't really let you know like how much time has passed. Because with Roger in Dawn of the Dead, what does he say? Like, I've seen this happen a lot, but no one ever lasts longer than a week. Which I would assume this is still the first night because they're like dressing the wounds and stuff.
Yeah, I would say this is like probably 30 minutes later.
Mm-hmm. But it doesn't take long for the rest of the shit to hit the fan.
No yawning in Dawn of the Dead.
I know,
Dawn of the Dead. No yawning in Of the Dead. Now he's got a turtleneck on. And a flannel, because it's cold down in them caves.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Like, what's the like mobile home hooked up to? Does it have like propane, or is it just they just have electrical but they don't have these are things that boggle my mind, that make me I ask these questions. Like, is it
Where's
warm?
the shitter?
Yeah, is it warm in there? Like, how do they drain the pooper?
Is it just a big latrine kind of thing? Is it just like in what's that Michael Biehn Apocalypse movie where they just have one big shitter that just goes into a big fucking room of poo?
Michael Biehn Apocalypse movie. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the movie starts and the apocalypse is happening, and Michael like is ushering people down to this basement where he welds the door shut, and he has like this. He's rationing out supplies, and one of the Arquettes, Rosanna Arquette's in it.
Dude, this does not sound familiar to me at all. I feel like a failure.
I know you would know it if I had the fucking title of it on hand.
No clue. Yeah, and this is where we really get the curtain pulled back on how fucking crazy Dr. Frankenstein really is.
What's he been working on?
Being insane. Look at all the bloody rags on top of that fridge, too. There's just fucking blood.
I would fully expect that fridge to be stocked with, like, hoagie sandwiches.
Right? But that leads to the other gross thing about him always being bloody when he's eating. Like, is it bloody because he wipes his hand off before he gets something out of the fridge to eat?
No, like, I would think the Ziploc bags have, like, blood dripping off of the package that he used his hand to put it in the fridge with.
Gross. It's like fucking Ryan Reynolds' fridge and Voices.
Yes, exactly like that. Perfect.
That's gross.
But only if you don't take your pill.
Yeah, no shit. Thinking Bub's talking to him and shit.
Yeah. He said, hello, Aunt Alicia. I know it.
You're a good boy. That stands the test of time. That's one of the best gross severed heads ever.
Cover it back up.
Yeah. Get this out of here. And I love how there was some interview with Greg Nicotero, how he said, like, they took a break from filming, when all the guts went rotten or whatever. It was a holiday break. It was either
yeah.
It was either Christmas or it was like Thanksgiving or whatever, and he played a prank on his family. He took that head home and put it in his bed and hid behind the bed and was running all the servos and stuff. So, like, his aunt or his grandma came to wake him up for the dinner, pulled the fucking blanket back, and his head was just there, like, rah, rah, rah. And that's excellent.
I remember that story too. Like, the coolers went out on the set while they were gone, so all that fucking meat that they would use for like the ripping of the guts and chomping on the gut scenes went spoiled, rotten, bad.
And they didn't have enough time to get new stuff because they were in a time crunch. So all those zombies that are chewing on roads, that whole thing is like, some of them had like, Vicks Vapor Rub packed up in their nose because the smell of the guts was so disgusting. People were throwing up.
Yeah, so now it's a gag scene for a whole different reason if you know that story.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's not guts. It's just fucking meat they're supposed to eat, but it's spoiled, rotten.
Ugh, dude.
Fucking sitting in this room for days on end.
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine, like, holiday break. So say it's Christmas, and say you take
2,
8
3
days off. Maybe, yeah, say you, well,
Yeah.
even 2 or 3 days, but say you took, like, a week and a half off and come back to film, and you've had refrigerated food that is now 100% room temperature and rotted,
Yeah,
and you gotta
Like-
fucking put it in your mouth.
yeah, multiple times too.
Yeah, because they
Like
weren't
you're just
one take Jake in it, that's for sure.
Yeah, don't be like nibbling at it. You got to go at it like you've never had a meal.
Ugh,
Chomp at it like you hungry as fuck.
that's gross. I love this too. The whole teaching of how to run the Walkman.
Yeah. Great, I'm writing this down.
Yep. He figured out he can push the button.
October 28th.
Yeah.
He pushed the button.
Bub pushed a button. Star pupil, let's give him someone's fucking liver.
You've earned a treat.
See, and I could have swore that there was a line of dialogue somewhere or a scene somewhere where they refer to like the military beef snacks, like some kind of a military beef snack, and zombies wouldn't touch them. I don't know where I saw that. Maybe that's a deleted scene from this movie, which is why this is even more, gross, because it's like, oh, they tried tricking them with artificial meat or, already cooked meat.
Cracked cauliflower.
Yeah, dude, cracked cauliflower is fucking delicious, but, and then that big old fucking string of shit stuck in his face.
Yeah.
Blah. What are you feeding him in there? Meh.
Been smelling this shit for days. Look at your fucking gross ass hands.
Yeah. Sick bastard. Steve.
I knew it.
Yeah, now you're in a fucking world of hurt, dude. You must listen.
Yeah,
Keep
straight
the
up
change, you
cop.
filthy animal.
You nerdlinger.
Yep.
You're,
Bitch ass motherfucker.
you knew about this too, didn't you? Didn't you? Didn't you? Liar!
Take all their fucking guns. Like he needs more guns. He's always carrying like 17 anyway.
I need more guns.
Give me the guns. Yeah, that was a very intense, like, grab her by the throat and fucking...
Yeah, like, big old bug eyes sticking out.
The only thing this scene is missing is him rolling over and spilling his guts out one more time. Like, yeah, just because.
Fucking bashes his stump on the door trying to leave.
Oh! Straight falls down like Pee Wee Herman and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You ruined my good jacket. Kill him a lot.
Dude's laughing at me, just holds his stump up. That's me giving you the finger, asshole.
I can do anything you can do. Oh yeah? Clap. Yeah, now we've reached the end of Dr. Whitecoat, whatever his fucking name is.
Everyone just calls me dead meat.
Yeah.
See there, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 guns on hand.
He's straight Nick Nolte in it. 4 guns.
He's got the machine gun. He's got 2 guns and holsters under his arms, and the one he's got held to the scientist's head.
Probably has like one on his ankle too.
Yeah. Plus, the belt bandolier around his chest.
Yeah. Yeah, and this dude, he takes a fucking ass beating. John the pilot for standing up to Steele and Rhodes. Fuck this guy.
Blue.
Bloof.
You fell for it.
You have the no side to your head anymore.
And that looked great too, like how the hair and stuff flew up.
Mm-hmm.
I
wonder if that's like an air cannon because like, well, it about have to be because the whole thing with the head squibs, like I was telling Remix, and I don't know if I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this. Like, they really can't detonate a squib on a head, so the method from the 80s and 70s and shit is still active today, where they run a blood tube. So there's a blood tube on the head. And then what they do is they put mortician's wax over top of it, and then they take a button, like a button-up shirt button, put it under the mortician wax, and tie monofilament to it. So they tie fishing string to it, and they run the fishing string clear to the camera. And then they yank the button from behind the wax over the camera so you can't see the line. And then someone down out of camera range, has a pump and pumps the blood because you can't blow anything up on people's heads. So that's they still do that to this day. It's the tried and true bullet to the head method.
It works.
Yeah, and it looks like $1 million.
Yeah.
It's always gross and very effective.
He's got to be running out of booze in that flask.
Well, you never run out of booze in the back room.
That's because I have hiding places.
You're like, yeah, I figured that out. I was back there the other day. You're like the house mother in fucking Black Christmas.
You ever seen The Punisher with Thomas Jane when he hits that fucking table and the pistol flies out of it?
Yeah.
Same method here, but with a nice, tall, cool Budweiser.
Yeah. And cherry Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
A lot of that back there. Yeah, I love this just throw down with fucking steel.
Run, rabbit, run.
Humans, they ain't nothing but nothing. Yeah.
He's a fucking private badge on his sleeve there, which is not surprising. This dude didn't get any higher than private.
I also love that he just keeps laughing at him while he's beating him up. Yeah! Like, good God.
Here comes this big old ham hock fist coming right through your face.
Yeah, how about a knuckle sandwich?
Booger lips.
Yeah, it's straight up like a bully, like just cocking it back, like, here it comes. Like, yeah, he took
that
one.
looks good too. They're hiding that he fucking severed arm.
Yeah, and we watched it on Blu-ray last night, and I couldn't see the hidden arm on Blu-ray. I'm sure that
which you can see it pretty fucking easily in Freddy vs. Jason in 2003.
Yeah.
So it's like for them to be able to hide it on a shirtless dude in 1985.
Well, man, that's the effects artists, especially under the guise of Tom Savini. Like, they would sit with George Romero and they would sit with the DP and say, look, it needs to be shot this way to hide this convincingly. They don't let the DP or the director do their job without their input, because to make the illusion sell, it's got to be filmed from the right angle. And I think that a lot of directors have attitude.
So that was an Evil Dead 2 shot, going to reaching for the shovel, and there's a hand coming.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Well, Evil Dead 2 was, 87? So a couple years after this, but definitely some Sam Raimi love going on here.
Yeah, they even look like kind of Deadites with their the brows, sunken in eyes.
Yeah. Half capitated bitches.
Shovel. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Looks great.
One of the best.
Roll
And the
so
eyes
good.
still looking around. I love that too.
Yeah. Bam.
Which I always thought, even when I was a kid, I always thought that, like, well, that fucking 2x4 looks like styrofoam, but you know, it looks good enough.
Well, it's this thing is like hit something else with it so you can feel the weight behind it and then use it and where you need to use it to
Right.
do the damage.
So
Hit
yeah.
something else, so hit something else so that you can feel it has a weight behind it.
Yeah, it tricks the viewer.
And it's double dirty Harry action. Pull the triggers, boom.
Blow his fucking head.
Yeah. His head would look like Tom Savini's in Maniac if he does that shit.
Oh my god, yeah, apple cores and fucking lasagna flying everywhere.
Blah, 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 blah.
Should have just shot him in the stomach so he would have to come back as a zombie.
That's one more to deal with, though, man.
You're leaving. Fuck him. And then again, this is... Rickles is totally me talking to Remix when we're doing the live streams. Well, fix it!
Get out of here!
We got the books.
That's
Fix
Remix.
it.
I can't fix it!
He's over there crunching numbers and fucking unplugging things and hooking things into light sockets and shit.
Plugging it back in.
I love how they both wake up simultaneously like, shit. That's not
Oh,
how
man.
being unconscious works.
They took all 8 of my guns.
But left my bandolier. Rhodes is the kind of guy who would fucking put a bullet in a vice grip and hit it with a hammer just so he could shoot at you.
You'd make a phantasm of a gun.
Yeah, straight up.
Scotch tape the bullet to a hammer and smash it on you.
Yep. Straight Reggie Bannister that ass. And this lighting, which is a total homage to Creepshow for sure.
Yeah, it's stark red and blues.
Which anyone who's been following the channel for a minute knows that was the old school setup because we're such big Creepshow fans for sure.
This does a pretty good job, too, of
Hoof.
dark.
Sorry, go ahead. I love that part. The hoof. He fucking barks at the zombie after he hits him.
No!
I'll let you continue with your thought.
The ricochets always sound cool, but man, yeah. I'm always knocking movies that in pure dark places where things should be super fucking dark, how there's still light somehow. And yeah, there's some light here, but I feel like this does a better job than a majority of movies in conveying darkness and getting lost in the dark.
Yeah, for sure. But you know why they do that, right?
Tell me, Linus, why do they do that?
They do that so the viewer can see what's happening. Yes, we're aware. We're well aware of why they shoot it that way. We just don't like it. Oh my goodness. And this too, like this whole just fucking sea of zombies.
You got the football player with the
Mailbox, which is my favorite team ever.
yeah.
The South Florida Mailboxes. Give me a Key and Peele football player name, because that's that guy's name.
Ingle McCringleberry.
Yeah, that's Ingle McCringleberry. Mailbox from South Florida.
Antoine Duckling.
Torque Lewis.
Donkey teeth.
Donkey teeth forever. Yes, glorious, glorious gore.
I always thought it was a weird, and neat but weird character trait that he puts his necklace in his mouth for this.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know whether that's to bite down because of the pain.
No, that's not gonna do shit.
Right? Yeah. It's
That's
like some
not
Starship Trooper shit.
Yeah.
Bite down on this.
Yeah,
helps.
you bite it on a fucking belt or something, not a metal chain.
Break your teeth.
Small.
It helps.
4 small metal chains.
Yeah. My all-time favorite zombie ever. The one that falls off early. I love that. I love Tasso's look, too. Like, fuck me.
Whoa!
Yeah. And I said, you think that guy got stunt pay for that? Like...
There is no stunt pay. He just fucked up, but kudos for him for staying in character and not being like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Fucking
Cut!
man.
Redo it again. The speeding golf cart. No one will be seated during the speeding golf cart escape sequence.
This been funnier if he was going just fast enough they could still outrun the golf cart.
Walk right next to it.
Yeah.
You fuck.
Because unless those are gas powered, electric golf carts are not really that fast.
Yeah.
Like that does not look like he's going too fast.
No, I love the look on his face like he was going fast though. Like,
yeah, his face is like, I'm going 35, 40 miles an hour.
He's like the grandpa in Freddy's Dead just spinning in a circle in that. Yes, commentary where we get in depth and throw random movie references.
Yep.
I love this too. Like he's so proud that he's free, and only George Romero.
I never got proud as free. I got like, my fucking chain broke. You got to fix it.
Yeah, that's a good point. But and then like I said, George Romero is the only person ever who could make you sympathetic for a zombie. You're like, you now feel bad for the monster.
Yep, and now we get zombie rage mode.
Mm-hmm. And which, it's a very subtle thing, but he's turning the tide in this movie, which the theme carries on into Land of the Dead. But this whole thing to where it's not, the zombies are not the monsters now. The people are the monsters for the way that the people are behaving. And the zombies are merely trying to survive. It starts to it takes that weird turn where it's like the two things just want to be left alone.
I love like thinking about some of the zombies, like one, their facial expressions on some of them, and the other ones, what they decide to choose for their wardrobe.
Yeah, the one dude with the cigar in his mouth and
yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, you tear me apart, Lisa.
Oh, that's so effective, dude.
Yeah. And like the telltale sign would be probably the eyes. And job, you fucking put fingers in there and cover that up.
Yeah, but that's a fucking excellent animatronic head, and it's
covering
so
up where it look fake and keeping in where it looks real.
Right, it's so effective still to this day. It looks yeah. Get the Three Stooges on. Bang.
Yeah, I just didn't give the shooting random places on them. They don't do shit.
Yeah. I love it. Woo! Oh shit. Man.
Tear over his shirt, eat him belly first.
Yeah, he gets fucked up. God. Yeah, that is 100%.
There's that ring finger.
Yep.
You bit my finger clean off.
Oh.
Quit crying, get yourself a goddamn Band-Aid.
I just I'm curious.
I'd love to see John Goodman just fucking straight up shoulder tackling his way through these guys.
He's got the fucking Delbert McClintock fucking sprayer on his back.
Just take the golf cart and throw it in reverse.
Yep. All 7.5 miles per hour of it.
Yeah, while holding like a 2x4, whacking them like mailbox as you go by.
That dude with the fishing pole.
Like, I'm bringing this into the shot. And you notice, look at the ballerina's feet. She's still doing the ballerina steps in the shoes.
Oh man, she is excellent. I never noticed that before. I feel like some of the it's just gonna happen in a zombie movie, I mean, because there are people who come from all over the place to be a zombie, you know.
Yeah.
That every once in a while you're gonna get one that just sticks out to you that's like not doing a good job, and I always
that's the joy of seeing this 100 million times. Is now you're not paying attention to the main stuff. You're just looking for weird shit in the movie,
Yeah.
in the backgrounds and stuff. Like, look at this one fucking acting all kinds of weird.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's comes with, like you said, with the multiple viewings of seeing a movie so many times where it's like I don't need to pay attention to the standard story because I've seen the standard story so many times, you know.
Yeah, now you can start expanding, looking elsewhere at stuff.
Yep.
They got his hat.
God damn it, Steele. You lovable, racist, big bastard.
You galoot.
Yeah, you big galoot. He's like fucking Bluto or whatever.
An infamous look of like,
Well, yep.
Cross myself, sort of, and there we go.
That's just, yep. I love how the way he throws the gun down after he dies, too. Like, if you notice that, he kind of like, what do I do with it? I'll just throw it, and then my legs will give out after I shoot myself.
Yeah.
And and then I made the joke last night that right there, Lori Cardell's fucking deaf now because he just fucking jumps up right behind her and then shoots that gun right next to her fucking head.
We're gonna have to make a stand right here.
Excellent. That was an excellent reference.
Cool fucking like shots there where they're like at waist level firing the guns like an action movie sequence.
Oh yeah, straight up out of like fucking some Chuck Norris.
Yes.
Just really like hokey Cannon films machine gun shooting.
Just for a hot minute though.
Mm-hmm. Counting on you to fly us to the promised land.
Get off my boat, you Hawaiian shirt wearing motherfucker.
Rodney Dangerfield looking motherfucker.
Don't mention it.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, that's you and me. We just want to... Hey, man, let's get the fuck out of here so we can just go kick it.
Fuck booze ain't gonna drink itself. We gotta get to the promised land.
Fuck all this stress and bullshit. Yeah, so
that's you think that's an armory. That's just Rhodes'
bedroom.
That's his personal room.
Which is another thing is like, why didn't he load these fucking guns before he left that room? He's so paranoid and ready to fucking throw down that he didn't load the guns.
Frazzled, man. He's not in a real fight type guy.
You puss fuck.
He's like, I got shot. Oh fuck, that hurts.
Tell me he doesn't look like Corey Feldman right there. Yo, Rumsfeld. You puss fuck.
Yeah, this is the dude who's not seen any real combat ever. He's just got shot. He has no idea what that is supposed to feel like. So he's like, ah.
It's a baby gash, man. Blam.
He goes to open that door with that bad hand. Ah!
Oh, he's kicking the ground like, God damn it, this fucking hurts.
This is what I've been doing to people. This is what I've been threatening to do to people for not sitting down during my meetings.
This hurts like hell.
I can make it. I can make it. I can make it.
I love it. I love when he's scooting along the wall. This right here, I love.
That wall's holding him fucking up.
Come on, you puss fuck. Come on.
He does have a knife attached to his shoe.
He does. Right boot.
Yeah.
Bub's too stupid to have fun.
Boom. There's when the wah wah.
Uh-huh. Wah, wah, wah.
Nope. gut shot, and there's the realization of like, oh,
Yep.
fuck.
The wasted thing from Grand Theft Auto pops up. Um, and that whole thing with him when he opens the door and screams,
Yeah.
that scene, if I'm not mistaken, I feel like was on the original trailer, and then I know it was on the.
That's like a scene that's used anytime that this movie is talked about is that scene there.
Yeah, and I know, I swear to God, for the trailer for Tom Savini's Scream Greats, they show that. Like, it's just so effective.
Me for being such a bitch has the line of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Choke on.
The King line, the most quotable and remembered line from the film for sure.
Yep. I'd love to recut the movie like when he's screaming when he opens that door. That screaming of Travis Van Winkle from Friday the 13th, the remake.
Oh my God, yes.
But yeah, those are people not happy about eating there.
Ugh. Yeah.
There's the notes that don't mean shit.
Brain, I wish I could have brain something observery. Ugh.
Now just recapping how everywhere they've been where thought they were safe is now just overrun.
Mm-hmm. That's a George Romero staple, man. He does that really well in Dawn of the Dead, showing how what was once the people's is now the zombies,
Yep, doesn't belong to us no more.
Mm-hmm. Now, you stronger than them, but soon I think they be stronger than you. Yeah, now this whole thing, which Remix brought up.
Fucking colorful. There's life.
Yeah. But it seems like that's a pretty good assessment. I mean, I'd like to think that they actually made it out, but it's a pretty good assessment to say that.
Oh, yeah.
That they're toast.
And what better way to end a movie or a franchise is to make it that however you want it to end is how you're going to want it to end.
Mm-hmm. I mean, think about if it would have just done a smash cut to black right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an ending. That is everything is resolved. Like, well, nope, they didn't fucking make it.
That's how it would end today.
Yeah. Well, that's like the original ending for Dawn of the Dead, where, Peter blows his fucking brains out and Franny sticks her head in the propeller. Like, that's how that movie was supposed to end. Like, George has a very bleak outlook on the future, like,
Like, it's not going to end well.
Right? And her with this fucking calendar still. Like, days matter.
Because of all the shit she had time to pack in a moment's notice, she grabbed the calendar off so she can keep up to date. Tomorrow's the 5th of November.
Remember the 5th of November.
Yep.
Yep.
And there's credits.
And that is George Romero's 1985 classic, Day of the Dead.
And however you want to picture at the end. If they got away, they didn't get away. You take away from it what you put into it.
Yep. Such a good movie. A super fun time. A depressing movie, though. Like,
Bill Dickhot. That's an interesting name. I love reading some weird names. Man.
Hey, I like how Galen Ross was one of the casting associates. She was Franny Parker in Dawn of the Dead. I also saw
Dane Pascal.
I also saw John Volich's name in the credits, which are another one of our supporters, Gina Bizarro, went to school with Mr. John Volich. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty crazy.
There's Bill Dickhout again. Location Dickhout.
The old Dick.
Susan Golumb.
Golumb.
There we got Howard Berger, special makeup effects crew.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Greg in there. Eileen Seif.
John Volich again.
Denise Smith. Kathy Borland. Al Borland's wife.
Martha Bromelmeyer.
Margaret McCubbin. Penny Mater.
Penny Mater.
Penny Mater.
You beat me. You win.
Property assistant manager, Penny Mater.
She's the real MVP.
John
Tony Bubba.
Vick.
Fuck you, Tony Bubba.
Tony Bubba.
Dan Corentus. Hamzuik. Tough name to say.
Jeff Barker.
Good old Jeff Barker. Jim Bozsan. Butter Up.
Tom S. Downing. Barry Bergstaller.
Bergstaller.
Gary
Man.
Bratz. That should be Gary Busey's name in a movie. Bratz.
He sells brats. Oh.
He's not a hot dog vendor. He's a brats dealer.
Yep, the brats dealer. Tadeo.
Trevor Jolly.
All right. Stensvold.
Foley Studio done by Rubber Dubbers Incorporated.
Rubber dubbers. Rubber baby buggy bumpers.
Incorporated. Special thanks, Frank Rubenstein.
Frank Fulchestein. And that is it. 1985, a Laurel production.
United Film Distribution Company. All rights reserved. Soundtrack available on Saturn Records.
Wah, wah. Pick you up a vinyl.
Or a tape if you're of the time.
Yes, get you a cassette tape of the Dawn of the Dead soundtrack. All right.
Excellent stuff. So yes, that is Day of the Dead. It has officially been commentated.
Yes.
Hopefully it is up to Liquid Pig's standard form.
Yes, Liquid Pig, I hope you enjoyed the commentary. For those of you who stuck with us all the way through to the end, you too can request films for us to do commentaries for or reviews for. It is all in our Patreon tiers, which is linked in the description.
Yep. Check it out. And yeah, there's no rules. Everyone may think horror movies only, but your money goes to wherever you want it to be. You pick the cinema. You want us to review Love Actually? You throw down the coin, we'll do it.
That's true. Well, we are making a small departure from just the specific horror genre. That is why the rebrand took place. That is why we are 3B Video. We work in a video store, so therefore all cinema is, fair game. But
there's no sacred cows here.
Yes, no sacred cows. That's what we do. We watch movies. We love movies. And our wheelhouse expands further than horror, even if horror is our bread and butter.
It is, which is why I'm sure if someone with a sixth sense of humor wanted two of us to watch a rom-com for the first time.
Oh, no. See, that would be fun, because I wouldn't know what to do. I would have to watch it once beforehand and then do a commentary for it.
No, there's no watching beforehand. We'd have to do it straight up right there. We just wouldn't have splatter facts. We would just have
reaction.
Well, the best we could do is watch the trailer for it.
Right.
But get all the reaction for something we haven't seen right on camera, right recorded for all to see.
So, yeah, good times will be had by all if you raid our Patreon perks. Yes. And before we close it, I want to say that none of this would be possible without our fantastic sponsors at Atomic Cotton and at RottenRentals.com. So if you feel so inclined, click their links in the description, check out what they do, and,
yes,
throw some coin their way, because it helps us also. But You have any closing remarks, Mr. Evil?
Closing remarks. This is probably one of the better screenings of Day of the Dead that I've done. It's always fun to watch a movie with Roger, even if we're not in the same room doing it. We're doing it even distances apart. It's always a good time to watch and critique, and not necessarily make fun of a film, but make fun with a film.
Make fun out of a film, for sure.
Yes.
Well, you're 15 feet behind me, and I will not let you out of the back room. Not just yet.
We couldn't watch this on the same screen.
I don't like you that much sometimes. But
I've been in the cave where these guys were residing at most of the time.
yep.
I smell like zombie rated Florida.
Yeah, and your hands are gross.
I feel like I could taste it. I could taste the air in this whole city.
Yuck. Salty butthole. The hint of
Yeah.
alligator piss.
Can't sum it up any better than that, sir. I
Right,
think
so
that's definitely it.
all right, so I suppose we should probably get going because after all, there's a lot of movies out there, and somebody's got to watch them. So why not us, right?
Liquid Pig, choke on them.